not open to that level, there is excess strain on the pipe. So which we want to avoid. And that's a soft spot that we have to identify. So
that's also that is based on the note that hits in, right?
Not the note actually.
Note or the frequency.
Frequency and all that's too much of a minute detail, because when we speak we have different frequencies coming together. We cannot speak in one frequency. So there's the highs, the lows and the mids that the musicians use the term.
Okay.
But on the very basic end, what it is your vocal cords are vibrating and your air is propelling. That's how sound is created.
Okay.
And it's to do with more physics. The wave passes through the air, and it is determined by how the air inside you has propelled, so that the outside is smoother. So I'll show you an example of how a strained vocal cord can be used. So is an example where I'm pumping in a lot of I'm vibrating my cords say at this speed, but I'm not giving it enough airflow. So if I use the same vibration and use airflow, it'll be versus this is a restraint, and this happens in small quantities when you're speaking for a long duration and when you want to emphasize on certain things. For example, brilliantly, if you want to speak like that, without your knowledge you would have damaged a little. So that can be improved with a lot of that air techniques that we
training
do.
also.
So that is the first warm up. That's why we do that, to realize that you can cushion your voice between two layers of air. So you breathe in properly for that, and you do That's how it is. So it's air, voice, air. So it's never voice and air. Neither it is just air and voice at the end. That will become like this, and you cannot speak anymore. So that's the realization.
This is, at least for me, as I said, I was trying to tell, this is a new podcast in its own self for me. We started it 6 months before.
Wonderful.
And we are also experimenting. Sorry, I'm already apologizing if something is going to go wrong inside this.
It's fine. I like when things go wrong, because you have space to make it right. If everything is too perfect, oh my God, it would look like a smooth wall. So yes, no problem.
We're calling this as NMBK Talks.
Sorry?
NMBK Talks.
NMBK.
Yeah.
Could you spell it for me, or?
It's NMBK.
Oh, okay, NMBK. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
It's called as NMBK Talks. NMBK is derived from the word called as NMBK.
Okay.
My trust.
Okay.
NMBK, where we are removing all the vowels out and then keeping the consonants
That's
intact.
creative. I like that.
And it's called as NMBK Talks, means more like a trust talk. What does the exercise, which I try to do, is that I try to bring in certain amount of conversations where we can be in an environment where you can tell your story in a trusted space.
Nice.
The trust works in the random places. What does it mean is, if I tell you that trust me, then you should not trust me. This is a ground rule of trust.
I've heard that.
So what does it mean is that, unfortunately, this works similar to the respect part, where you can only give and take. So we should possibly explore it, and we should take a leap of faith and enter into this conversation. And it's my responsibility to hold the trust, and it's also your responsibility to give the trust.
Yes, sure.
We will see where it goes. Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't know, but let's start there.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for all the people we entered inside this.
Yes.
This is Sagar. Maybe I had a privilege to visit your class. That is what I would like to call on this Saturday.
Yes.
And I was really delighted, which was propelling me. Couldn't stop. I was hunting for all the people to contact, and then finally had an amazing...
You hunted me down. Finally, you hunted me down.
And thanks a lot for the time. We are here. Yes. So to really know your ideas, your vision, your journey, and where it goes. I had a different experience, at least when I was there in that class, right? It's I am a non-singer by nature. And in the movie called Ratatouille,
yeah,
they actually tell to start with, anyone can cook.
Yes, I remember that.
Gustav, right? So this is something you made me experience the same thing called as anyone can sing. The credit goes to you when my father sung the first song, right? Because he's absolutely no singer.
Okay.
And he was there because I asked him to be there, and he was singing, right? It was surprising for me. So thanks a lot for that experience.
My pleasure.
With that, of course, I would want to go into some questions that happened inside the session itself, which I have partially asked you on through our calls. I would like to go inside that to know, why do you devise it? How did you come up with those ideas? How do you approach that for such a large crowd? I'm purely astonished by that, right? Where you can control 200 people sitting on the stage, right? This is, I'm very curious, how did you devise that class itself?
More than controlling, I would say it's
orchestrating,
creating a space where they feel confident about themselves. Nobody likes to be controlled, to be honest. They would like to be they would like to feel belonged, and that's what I try my best to do. Because say you're a complete stranger who had never attended Swarapaana session, and you walk in, you're in a complete analysis mode. I break the ice by saying that, okay, you can stop analyzing me. We'll save it for later. You have not come here from so far just to analyze me. I make sure that I cushion that layer for them and tell them why they have come here, why they might have come here today to enjoy. And that sets those nerves free, because every time you pay for something, like some things are transactional and it has to be transactional. And when they pay and come, they have certain expectations of, what do I reap from this? How do I count every minute? How do I divide every minute by every rupee? That's the mindset they walk in with. Though they might have been impressed with the videos that they've seen, but you might have seen the videos yourself before walking in, and the experience would have been different.
Yes, totally. This is something which I would want to also tell to the people who have not visited.
Yes,
is that the videos are just, it's not even a taster. Right? You have to really go there to experience the part.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Definitely. When that happens, right, you're busy half of the time thinking about, what do I get from this? So when you break that ice and let them feel comfortable, they don't have to be controlled. They become friends. If you remember, we also did vocal bonding exercise. So when they do that, they bond with each other, and instead of saying they behave according to the decorum, they vibe. The vibrations that you get, that I get at least, being on the other side of the audience, is unity. So I don't see a person being zoned out. Even if they look zoned out, they will not be. So that helps me personally to bond with them. That is also a selfish reason why I make them do warm up. I want to bond with them because there are a lot of strangers, and I don't want them to feel estranged, whatever it is. So when that happens, I think things will go with the flow, and it's more or less they're not listening to me. They're understanding that for them to synchronistically sing, they have to do that part.
You started with the concept to tell, look, this is Shruti auntie. It's, your sense of humor is top notch, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how I like my sessions to be. And I have this ideology of why I do things, why I do certain things the way I do, and for what I do. Mostly I am doing it for myself. I would like it to be funny. I like people when they laugh. It brightens up my energy. So I believe that everybody is selfish in their own ways, and when our selfish needs meets a win-win point, there's no harm. And it's okay. This was taught by my mother, because there is this unconditional love of mothers that everybody talks about. Do you believe
unconditional love exists?
Unconditional love also has some conditions that are invisible. Okay. So that's how I would put it. My mother explained it very beautifully. She said unconditional love is something that is so deep rooted that you cannot see the conditions.
Okay.
It's so deep rooted. The conditions are in the blind spot of the beholder, of course. I, as a kid, would never understand, why is my mother, I'm torturing her so much, why would she do so much for me? And then she answers me, only, this is also the phrase that we are all familiar with, only if you were a mother you would understand. So if I'm not a mother, I need not understand.
And which you cannot be.
Yeah, that I cannot be. Of course. I mean, I need not understand. It is not a burden that I had to put myself with. And once I understood it and realized it from the way deep within, we are all forced to empathize sometimes, when sometimes we don't feel empathetic towards some things, and it's okay to be that. And why I raise that point is, when I do certain things, to do what I do, it is just to facilitate my session, so that I can be myself and I can do it.
I get the point, but the idea of toning things down,
Yes.
that was really classy, because the way you explained the beats.
Yes.
I had a app to learn the beats.
To learn the
Thala as such.
Okay.
Right? But you to teach that concept of beats for 200 people is in starting from toning down the technicalities. That is something I would be interested to know. How do you do that? Or is there a forceful ideology that you tell that, look, there is?
It is. I mean, I want to address the concept of teaching first. How would you teach people? I never like to be controlled or taught, or to be said to do certain things the way they are supposed to be done. So it's very simple, but you go back to everybody's common memory. Everybody knows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they would have not realized that rhythm exists within their life, everyday life, the way they speak. What is your name? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's in the rhythm. You would not ask, what is your name? That's simply absurd, because you're not used to it. So I treasure on those things, that I make them, I help them label the things they are very already aware of, but they do not know what that is. That is why I called Shruti auntie, because auntie is familiar, Shruti is not. So when they realize that everything comes from imitating, I also mentioned this in the previous session, that's how a human learns. A human learns through imitation, mimicry, just repeating whatever they hear. They hear from this sense, they deliver it from this. So that's how we learn language as well. How do you know the word Sagar exists? It's just a bunch of sounds. How could it be my name? So that's how I started making sense of everything. It need not be taught. There are some things that you don't have to teach. They've already learned it. You just have to make them realize it and help them label it according to the musical terms. And even the labels are just sounds. Ultimately, ta, la is just a combination of two letters, ta and la. So it doesn't have to be named, and it doesn't have to be learnt. Some things have to be just realized. And when you realize that, people feel that sense of accomplishment. So they feel like, oh, I learned it. Oh, now I know that it is
and
called
you can
Tala.
see that.
I can see that
on the stage.
Definitely. That's what keeps me going ahead. If I fail to make them realize that this is what it is, there's no next step. If they do not understand Tala or Shruti, I cannot make them feel proud of themselves.
There was a time where you actually picked up all the male members.
Yeah.
And then you told male members, you are gonna
Yes.
sing this note, right?
Yes.
I'm a bad singer. I try my best. Even the space that I looked around, you had a lot of female fans.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm the only male. My father had given up by that time. After the first song.
Okay.
He's like, oh, very odd for me. I prescribed him to come for other sessions so that he can come out of this.
Yes.
And I was supposed to sing that.
And you did not?
I did.
Okay.
But when I started a bit slow,
Okay.
the neighbor of mine was looking at us like, you are not singing, right? And I was like, okay, I will sing, right? I'll sing. I mean, sorry. Yeah. It was the whole point of people take up the responsibility to participate.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. This is exactly what I wanted to tell you. To tell you, walk in as a stranger, but they want others also to like, let's sing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could experience it, right? But how do you take it to that level?
It's all the fund of community. How it's also that some humans such as myself, I prefer to be solitary. I don't want to be mingling with people here and there every now and then. But when you come there as strangers. But I try to create a single purpose for all of them to carry from that session. That is to, first step is definitely to carry that joy and have that memory of singing along with people. And sound heals. And any basic element of earth, be it soil as in food, any earthy material, sound is the element that is in between these elements. And I believe that any sound used in a proper manner can be therapeutic. And vocal bonding exercises, it's again like a black magic. It just works uniting people in one voice. So when they unite, warm-up is extremely crucial. If I carried the same songs without the warm-up, you would go with a very bad day. Because in the very beginning, you are compelled to use sentences, words as a part of the song, and you see that people are pronouncing it differently. You don't feel belonged. But if you noticed, warm-ups do not have any words in them. It's just sounds. So when they produce that sounds in unity, that's called unison in musical terms, where everybody sings the same thing, they bond. And when that happens, you already feel belonged in that group. So when you feel belonged, it's not equal to you being at home with your parents, being completely yourself, but you achieve the major fraction of it where you're at least able to express yourself, if not be yourself. So that is achieved by warm-up, and anybody would love to sing. So you can see some people dancing. So there are varieties of people. I'll be noticing all of that sitting in the session. There'll be still people who are like, they're singing like this. They're singing the loudest songs like this. So that's why I keep interrupting them in the middle, and I keep saying, you've come from so far, you don't have to sit like when Gaurama and sing. That's why I keep saying that. But again, though they're sitting like that from the outside, I know what's happening on the inside. There is that smile.
There is inhibitions, right? This is what I wanted to tell.
Yes.
That from because it's very amazing when you actually look. You're a singer, right?
Yes.
You are used to singing. So for a person who has been consistently not used to singing, right, there is a huge amount of inhibitions that comes in. So it's amazing that you can put somebody in that comfort zone, right, and then actually open it up.
True. I think it goes back to why I came up with Swarapaana when you bring that up. I think the term singer is overrated. What do you mean by a singer? Just because you work, does it mean you're a walker? A walker is a different thing. So this thing bugged me, though it makes sense why it is labeled that way in societies. Sometimes I thought to myself, what if the term singing was never existing? So a person who heals, who treats wounds, they're called doctors. So just because a person is singing, does it make them a singer? Or if their profession and passion is both singing, do you call them a singer? Who do you call a singer? If you call me a singer, I genuinely do not identify myself as a singer. That terminology itself in society created that unhealthy competition in the industry and society of music, I would say, because I'm very, very sure, though I was not born a few hundred years ago, I'm very sure why music was invented and how it was invented. You don't even have to dig back into history for that. Though I did, the first instrument that was created was a flute that's some 4,000 years old. So people understood sounds. Again, I fall back to the same concept of sound being used in a modified way. Anything that is structured like sound in an understandable mathematical sequence sounds like a music. And that music was invented, and singing was invented, and then instruments was invented. And all of a sudden, like any other thing would have entered into, even music ended up being competitive. Now everybody is praising Shreya Ghoshal, Arjit Singh. No wonders they're amazing singers, terrific singers. But there are some amazing singers in unlabeled bands, unknown cities. They don't even know their potential, because I also came across this term called as the difference between a popular singer and a talented singer. That's very, very different. again, now that we have that term called as singer, we have all of these new things that are popping up in the internet now. And one of the interviews that I saw of Cardi B, she says she's a rapper. I'm not into rap, by the way. I just came across in my Instagram feed, and she says there are popular singers and there are talented singers. She admits, because she's one of the most popular musicians in the world, and she's received a lot of awards. So why I want to come at that is, so when people, nowadays in social media, you get everything and anything right at your fingertips. And when you're seeing constantly that there's so much competition in music, you treat that as an industry.
Mm-hmm.
You treat that as...
Which you think it is not?
Which I think it is not. It shouldn't be. It is not an industry on its own. For example, food became an industry because it is a need. And food industry, though there are competitive restaurants, as far as it meets your needs, it fuels your body, you're fine with it. You don't have to do fine dining always. Why doesn't that apply everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my logic. If you want the healthiest food, we don't care so much about healthy food. There is biomagnification. You will be poisoned in one or the other way. So that will happen. But people don't care about that because it is a very basic need. But music is not. It was, but it is not. So the music lovers that I'm accumulating every day, I'm studying the statistics as well. How many people turn up to multiple sessions? How many are just one-timers? I am seeing their behavior pattern, and by that I am able to analyze.
Can you throw some statistics around?
We have about 10% retention every bi-monthly cycle. So what that means is, so we do bi-monthly registrations where they purchase that subscription for 2 months, and they are told to have 8 sessions, and it's not mandatory for them. We don't have attendance like music schools and everything. So they come around that statistics is around 48%, 50%. So they attend at least 4 of the 8 sessions. So there are some people who have attended all the 100%.
If there are 100 people, 50 people
50 people turn around every time. So that's the statistics. And the retention, when I talk about the
next cycle,
resubscribing to the same plan, that is around 10%. So what did I study? I tried to read between the lines, and I thought people are getting saturated. And then I was like, I named it Swarapaana because Pana is again an addiction. And now,
Swarapaana, but
yeah.
but do you believe that addiction is not natural?
Addiction, it is natural. It is natural because there is a void. Unfortunately, we are in a system that a human has built. So there are some researches that have happened, that I've read, the rat experiment you might have seen. So there's two different populations of rat, wherein one population of the rat is completely caged with nothing to play around. So they just have a floor, and they're fed timely with scarce amount of food, and they are given 2 kinds of water. One which is drugged with cocaine, and one the regular water. And 90% of the rats choose the cocaine water because it is triggering that chemical reaction in their brain. So they derive the happiness from there. So, but however, when you look at the other population, that cage was sufficiently spaced. So there were things to play around, the wheels, the trees, the burrows and everything. And the rats were very, very happy, and they did not have the necessity to choose cocaine water.
So community definitely
helps in that. And what I want to say is that we are in a system where we do not have the natural source of happiness a human must have. Again, going back to sound, when music was invented, I'm pretty sure it was a healthy form of addiction. It is like you discovering how to mix 2 ingredients that naturally occur and eat that, instead of eating them alone. It's not something synthesized. Well, now that is debatable because AI music is on the way. But though it was natural, it was a source of happiness more than, and when it's a source of happiness, we lean towards it being our necessity also. Entertainment is an industry, so we need entertainment, we need dopamine. So people who are not very comfortable with music, it is one among the top addictions in the world. Music is an addiction. Some people cannot stay without music. But what form of music? Do you just listen to music all day? There are people who listen to music all day while working, while...
I am one of them.
Okay. But I was like, music is not just supposed to be heard. You are missing out on the major part. You can make music. You can create. You have a beautiful gift that you're given. You can use that to make music. And creation part is something I think it's deeply rooted with our genetics. I release a lot of hormones that I can't even name probably, but when I create music, that's when I reap a lot of benefit when I compare it with listening to Arijit Singh or Shreya Ghoshal. While some people reap a lot of joy listening to music, I encourage them to make music. And some people are overwhelmed because as I said, we have 10% retention. Some people might not feel belonged because...
But they become part of the family.
Yes, they do. And some individuals, I don't want to judge anybody, but then some people want that limelight that you might not get being in a group, a community. And people who are used to that limelight might feel difficult to retain themselves in such communities where they are not being probably significantly
But that's amazing
noticed.
that most of your videos are shot mostly from your back, where you are also part of the team itself.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I don't know if it was by purpose or by design.
It is by purpose because I do not... I want to rule that ideology out where the best singer has to be in the front.
No, that means that's exactly the point. With the idea, it matches with what you're trying to tell. Tell that you yourself also seeing yourself in the back, being a part of the crowd.
Yes.
So it's also that even though you are... Now I don't know, controlling is the wrong word. I will tell leading is the word. I don't know if it is...
Leading would be a good word, yes.
If you are choosing to lead, being on the stage, you're also trying to be a part of the community.
Yes, I am. I keep telling, Swarapaana is like a wall that I lean onto. I reap the most benefits out of Swarapaana, what it has to offer, what the community has to offer, because I'm able to be completely myself there, and to lead was something that I liked from my childhood. That's a different story. But when I come there to be a part of sessions, part of Swarapaana sessions, and when I take a lead, I miss out on most of the joys that my teammates have. They get to listen to the small conversations, the little happiness that people are discussing. But when I appear in front, they won't, because they see me as this leader and they have this reserved speech that they talk. But other than that, what the musical part of the sessions, right, I reap a lot of benefit because I have amazing stereo setup, people standing like this, and I get to hear from everywhere. It's like 360-degree sound system that you have. So that's the best thing that I get to have and I keep appreciating that you people are sounding amazing. You must attend our Bugle Rock sessions. In the Bugle Rock session, we sit like this in a sort of a lightly bulged semicircle that creates an amazing live stereo setup. One must actually experience that. That's amazing. But when that happens, right, I only get to see people's expressions in the videos. I'm short-sighted. I can't see very well. So when I'm seeing here, all I see is blurred expressions, images. But when I look at the videos, I get to see what it is doing to people, and it is amazing. So I see themselves being absolutely themselves. Some ladies waving her hand like this and singing. She's not minding who's around, was around, and nobody's even watching her. That's the best part. What else could you wish? Nobody's there to judge, because I set that cushion, as I told in the very beginning. Nobody's there to judge. You can be absolutely yourself, and I will not scold you if you sing a wrong note. And there isn't a wrong note when you're singing in a group. Everything merges into something beautiful called as noise effect, and it sounds beautiful. And moreover, when I see the people's expression, individual expression, I make sure that I meet them personally and I tell them, thank you so much for enjoying the last session. I saw you in the video, you were so expressive. And that's a testimonial for them and myself, because it means what I came up with is working. That is one of the major goals and visions of Swarapaana, and why I did that. I sort of figured out the way and purpose of Swarapaana after creating it, but now every session adds a lot of values.
Now, how did you create it? I mean, what was... Because as far as I understand that, let's start with the journey of your music, right? When did you explore the music as such? When did music explore you?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question, because a lot of things explored me, including sports, since my dad was into basketball full-time. He's still a coach. He's a full-time coach. So I was mostly into sports and anything that had to do with intense physical activities. So I was a swimmer, I played badminton and basketball, these three sports. And then I was also doing chess, and I was a dancer for quite a while, and music was none of it. I did not go to music classes anywhere until I was in my first PUC. So that's when I started music actually started.
Somewhere still around 15, 16.
Yeah, that's when I was 16, probably. But dance was the major interest. I've traveled across the cities because of my dance team.
So you got the rhythm part of it pretty active.
Yeah, probably. My mom says that. I don't know. She says that I already had good sense of rhythm and good sense of picking up tunes.
So you
and
were a
everything.
good. I mean, because I, if you allow me to dance, I am very good at doing the Ganesha dance rather than the rhythmic dance.
Yes.
But you could catch the rhythm very early in your age.
Yes. That's what my mom says. I could catch it because I enjoyed doing it. I embarrassed myself seeing the old videos of me. But what I could see there, what I wish I still had from my childhood, is that some deterrent, that zero sense of who's around you. I am totally myself on the stage. You get to see 10 kids dancing in my team, and you would definitely notice me as the odd one out, because I'm doing every moment extra. So it's me being totally myself. There are hundreds of people sitting in front. So I think that kudos to that, because that gave me absolutely no fright of stage. I can still stand on the stage and not be frightful. Of course, if I have some other things bothering my head, probably that would tense me out. But the people by themselves never stressed me out. I think the credits goes to that part of my life. But later on, I started paying attention to lyrics. I don't know why the philosophy side of me started kicking in as I hit my teenage. And I started explaining people, see how beautifully this lyric has been written. And I started to sound too poetic all of a sudden. But my mom, oh my God, as I tell you, I'm a very difficult, unpredictable, notorious kid. You might never know when I would shift into something else, like a chameleon would do, because I would have multiple interests, multiple colors to wear. And one fine day, I am bothering my mom with a song that I wanted to explain. I don't exactly remember which song I was. And my mom facilitated that conversation. I think that credit must go to my mother, because if a mother or father stems immediately
become an
and
engineer.
judges it, become an engineer, become a doctor. That was there very softly, but they respected my artistic side. The first conversation, if that was stemmed there, and if I wasn't encouraged, that would probably sit as a trauma in my head. So I thank my parents for not accidentally giving me a trauma. So they facilitated everything, and I had this bunch of kids. I was this street king, you can call me. I'm very embarrassed to share this side of myself, but I was a very dominant Hitler kind of kid on the street. You can call me that. I would boss around. I would create my own games.
And you were also bully?
Yes.
And how did it go? I would be very much interested to know the story from bullying to building a community. Yeah? That's a story on itself.
That is so unbelievable, because my mom used to tell me this, since most of your kids' actual essence of memory would have gone. My mom tells me this. I used to be very bossy. I have proof. I have videos where I've actually pushed kids away. I've made my own rules. I would have exclusive separate rules for myself to cheat. I wouldn't be the person out of the game. So I used to modify and bend the rules the way I want, which I totally hate right now. But kids would stay. They wouldn't go away because I'm a bully or I'm a mean person or something, because I would make sense out of what I was creating. So kids like that, and everybody who has been a part of my friend circles, they have grown up to be sensible, because they were sticking so close to me, though I was very unfair. They hate me to the core, and now I take all the blame. Now I tell them,
and you apologize.
I apologize. But it is not enough, because in that age, oh my God, I was a terrible kid. I can't get rid of those images right now in my head. I used to make my own rules, and they would abide by it, because it used to be interesting. though whatever role they got to play in the game. It would be very interesting, and they liked to be a part of the small...
Can you give an example? I'm very curious about the rules which you made, and then I don't know if you remember something, but...
Oh, definitely. I had this badminton game where 3 people play against 1 person, and that would always be me, because I would also want to be good. When I play, I loved badminton since when I was a kid. I used to have 3 people play against 1, and we used to be around 10 kids. And if you miss the shot, you're basically out. So whoever goes out has to shift. So that wouldn't apply to me.
Okay.
So though there are 3 people fighting for just 1 shuttle that I would put there, whoever got out, they had to be replaced among themselves. And I used to play for 30 minutes straight. And that's how I would facilitate my own professional badminton training. So these are the schemes that I would do, and they wouldn't question up until an age. And then when they figured it out, they started asking me questions, and I was like, yes. And you start understanding ethics, probably because of your school.
But when was this shift? Because we just talked about win-win as a strategy, right? Because and you are talking about building a community, a common language. Where do you look? We're still talking. You're significantly young.
Yes,
right?
I don't know.
It's not the concept of when I was 20s. You are 20s, right? When do you see the shift happen from where it went to tell that no, I want to get into. I'll also want to be happy. Mm-hmm. I'll take all the audiences what are giving, but I also want you to be happy.
Yes.
What?
I think it's majorly because of the growing up thing, and some good stuff stayed with me. That's how I would put it. So the good stuffs did not fade away, especially the fear of being judged. I never had. I never had this shame side where you would be conscious about what people would think if you're speaking like this, what people would think if you're singing like this, what people would think if you're thinking like this, anything. So I never had that in my quotient, and I can only be grateful for that. I don't know what else I could be for that. I wouldn't say that that's the secret ingredient that I learned from this. There's nothing special about that. I think that eliminates the biggest chunk of any challenge an adolescent would encounter, that is to be judged. Otherwise, I think every individual, every teenager, every person who has crossed their, who just entered their teens, they would be equally capable. It's the only thing that you're neither a kid, you're nor an adult, you're in a phase where you're very vulnerable, and whatever people tell you matters 10 times more than what it means. So this is a common challenge I only witnessed in my friends without being a part, without being a victim of it. So without feeling sorry for all of the other population, I feel grateful for not having that. I wouldn't say I never had that fear of being judged or something. I had it, but I would somehow shake it off. And I would still be the bossy kid. So and then I fine-tuned my behavior, and then I started understanding the actual ethical part of being in a group. There's a win-win for everyone, and that's how you can achieve anything in group work. And I also had this essay to write, and I had a lot of eureka moments while writing that essays. And I realized the very fact that some things cannot be done alone. You just cannot do it alone. Swarapaana cannot run by myself. I have a lot of people behind the screen working tirelessly, from registrations to anything. I understood the benefit of it, firstly for myself, because as I said, we are all selfish. And secondly, for everybody's self. It works for them as well. If I'm able to offer something, that's how society must work, and that's how it works. I have my own theory of existence of universe based on diffusion. So where there is less, it has to go from more. So that's how it works. And where there is give and take, I think a group can sustain, and it has to be healthy. And one more thing a group must have is a good leader. And I explained to my team who's a leader. A leader is not the strongest necessarily. A leader is not the one who controls everyone necessarily, which I was. And I thought that was leadership. That was just pure domination. But apart from that, leader is the one who takes the first step when nobody does. That's what I learned. After realizing it, I taught that to my team. That is what to lead means. To take the first step when nobody feels like taking the first step, when nobody is taking the first step for whatsoever the reason. That's when I took the first step. And again, the credit goes back to my shameless, I don't even know the right word. What is the right word? Shameless version. Let me put it that way. No problem. So I took the first step. Why are you guys not taking the first step? I'll take it. It's not because I wanted to lead. I wanted to see what's there ahead. So when that happened, people stepped with me. And that became the routine. I got used to being understood as a leader. And that was a very, very more than a responsible role. It was a fun role because you get to see the thing first. So that's the inner kid thinking about leading.
And motivated you to become a stronger leader.
That became a loop. So every step I take, every next step I take, it's reinforced with all the steps that I've taken before. And it affirms me positively. Go ahead, you can take this decision.
Music journey.
Music journey is something that happened.
We were there with the rhythm.
I joined my music school late in when I can't even say late. I joined when I was in 11th, and that's when I discovered music in a way that I never thought I would discover.
You joined for vocals? Or?
Yeah, I joined a music class called as Raghuleela School of Music.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of the most significant steps that ever happened in my life, not just musically, but as a person. The director and vocal instructor of Raghuleela School of Music is Dr. Sunita Chandrakumar. She is the only person that I gave the place of guru, not a teacher, because I told this in one of my talks before. She didn't teach me music. She taught me how to want something.
Mm-hmm.
That's way deeper than it struck me before. How can a person teach you how to want something? Does it mean they taught you to be desperate? Does it mean they taught you to be jealous of things that you should have from others? What does it mean? Then I understood that she taught me also what guru means. Guru is that inner self that you already have, the evolved version that guides you through. That's the guru. And she instilled that guru in me, and I could guide myself better compared to everything that I had. And that was my biggest missing puzzle piece. And it is also a record. I stayed with her for 5 years. I've never stayed under any instructor for more than 2 to 3 months. So that's a record. And a lot of the teaching styles is inspired from her, and I would give all of my credits of understanding music, of understanding lyric, of understanding literature, of music, everything to her. And after that happened, Swarapaana happened, and now it's running its miles like that.
Nice. Amazing. I would also, because there is a part which I would also want to touch into, which you have a rhythm, United
by music.
Music, right?
Yes.
So I want to hit on the concept of this goes to the vision part, because there is ideology that you would also want to put out there, because right now you have already started an academy of music.
Correct.
So that also means all the best for that.
Thank you.
So it's growing a bit more deeper and into roots.
Correct.
Where is it that you want to take this?
At very first day when I came up with the concept of uniting people by music, first of all, let me tell you this. When we do smaller sessions, now it is impossible in Bangalore because people come in hundreds. When we had smaller groups, when it began, I ask people to introduce themselves in a certain way that they are not used to. And I strictly prohibit them from talking about their profession. So their introduction would be like, what is your name and why do you like music? For whatever reason. Those should be the only 2 questions that has to be answered. And most people find it very difficult to identify themselves without their profession or without what they're doing. I am Sagar, I'm an educator. That's how they would speak. So after I was strict about it. You are not supposed to disclose your profession. You have to just, because the reason why you're here today is not to talk about your profession. It is because you like music. correct me if I'm wrong, that's the reason you're here, and people would rewire back to why they came here. So that is when I at the end they would ask me what is my name and what is the reason I like music, and then I would say my name is Sagar and I like music because it is capable of uniting people like this. And that's when I came up with the hashtag United by Music. So when that happened, when I started it, 100 was the limit that I wanted to have in the team. Then I understood that we cannot have it because people do not like to stick to schedules. They just do not. And then I was like, let's open the gate to how many ever people who want to be a part, because there shouldn't be a limit.
When did it cross? I mean, when did it really hit you that, okay, this is growing?
On day 2.
Oh, nice.
Before even conducting the first session, it crossed my mind. Why would 100 people save their time for me? They wouldn't even save it for music. They don't know whether they want to save it. That's when I opened the gates for how many ever people would want to come. Then when I saw that the audience was blasting in Bangalore and we're in Mysore, the first big step, the milestone that I had to take was to reach Bangalore, which I wasn't planning any time until it had been 1 year that I started Swarapaana. It still has not been 1 year. I started it on 4th November. So we'll be crossing the first anniversary very soon.
Nice.
But it compelled me. One fine day I said, okay, let's do a meetup in Bangalore. I asked some fans to meet in the Forum Hall, and then we did a meeting, and then I confessed that I'm very Bangalore dumb. I do not know anything. I know barely 3 places. And they gave me suggestions, and I created a group for them to discuss amongst themselves and come up with locations where we could do. And there were also lovely volunteers who went and spoke with the authorities of Bugle Rock, Cubbon Park to do our first sessions there. And that's how we expanded in Bangalore. And everywhere that I've been, and every session, as I say, I carry a lot of value from every session. And the major chunk of it goes to people. All the credit goes to people. We are one. And whoever resonates with the objective of Swarapaana, they come forward to help. And without them, I will not be able to expand. So now it has given me confidence that wherever I expand, to wherever place I take Swarapaana to, I just need to be very truthful to myself and my objectives and communicating the same to people without having any hidden agendas or anything. You just have to be pure in telling people what you want to do and why you want to do it. And people, whoever resonate with it, will come forward to help. This is what I've come across, and I sort of rely on them to do it, right? Because I physically cannot do some things. I cannot get 5 errands run at once by myself, and none of them are employed under Swarapaana yet. Now I recently registered Swarapaana as a sole proprietorship, but that is something, a legal part of it. But when it comes to an organization, I think in the future I am planning to establish a building of Swarapaana as a school of music and all the activities that happen there, and probably have an office. I don't want to make it extremely formal. At the same time, organization itself defines what it is. So we need to organize a few things. Probably in the future I'll be establishing an office, and the higher ends are never ending. I want to do flash mobs on the streets of New York, as I told before, and probably in different cities as well. I am manifesting it. Let's see where we can go with that.
Nice. Thanks a lot. As an ideological part, right? Because you already explained how the music comes in and how it hits in, right? I have 2 parts I need to ask with, right? We brought up this conversation which is tangential, but I want to, because it's very strange when I meet people that they bring up Corona. It's kind of a thing already in my podcast that when we have a conversation, they talk about Corona, and I'll be interested to know their journey in Corona, because there is some way that it has changed them or signified them. Right now, you're also pointing out certain things about it. I don't know what.
Yes.
I'd be interested to know what it meant to you.
Yes, the best part of Corona for me was no school. Because I was not made for schools, which I realized very later, And now school is on the side. I'm doing my studies on the side and music as my main thing. So what COVID did as a big favor for me was for me to think, for me to have time apart from school, so that I realize what I can do in my free time instead of wailing it away. So what I did in COVID mostly had to do with you couldn't travel anywhere, so you had to be in your house. So I did a lot of fitness, health exercises, and you connected with people online. And the one skill that I evolved, that I honed during COVID, was definitely my communication skills with people. I used to do free spoken English classes for my teammates, for my classes. I studied in a state syllabus school. Not everybody was very comfortable conversing in English. My mom was a teacher. She taught me certain things. And as I told you, I liked inventing my games and teaching people. That was my passion, because if teachers are not able to reach people, that's a failure. You fail to teach when you fail to reach. That's a quote that I came across later, and I made that a motto, that I have to reach people, and people skills became one of my biggest assets during COVID, because I just wandered off to different places. I did 5 things at once: played chess, badminton. I never had time to speak with people when COVID wasn't there. So when COVID was there, I was restricted to being at home and using online platforms, of course, Zoom, Google Meet, and all of that. And I did most of my things online, and it had to do always with communication, with reading, with speeches, giving a talk for 2 minutes without hesitating. So though it might have helped them in certain ways, they might have cracked interviews, my friends. We were just 16, 17 then. Now that I carry from COVID part is definitely that ability to what you were saying is controlling people, is basically reaching them. When you reach deep into their soul and tell them your purpose very clearly, show them your purpose without saying it in actual literal words, if you understand what I want to say. It's the soul talking to a soul. So that's the skill that is required utmost in any industry that has to do with education right now. So now we do not have that amazing teachers like we used to have, because that skill is being artificialized. So people do not rely completely on reaching students. They just want to give information nowadays.
In the mean, there is 2 things that there is 2 books that has been written, right? The first one is called as Knowledge of the Crowd, or I think it's may not be Knowledge of the Crowd. It's kind of Consensus of the Crowd, where the wisdom of the crowd, or something like that, where they tell the crowd brings the knowledge of together, the collective consciousness.
Correct.
And then there is a book that has been written called as Foolish of the Crowd, where we tell that, look, when you are in the crowd part, you are one among the sheeps.
True.
So how do you balance it out? Because it's a problem of community in itself.
I mean, it depends on what role you want to play. Ultimately, that is why I was saying being a leader is very important. I cannot go into a phase where I allow somebody to replace me. It's not about faith. It's about brand in layman terms. You don't want the stamp design to change. It's as equal as that. I would never let anybody replace what I am doing, but they're capable. But I would like to expand with them. So if I am in the right context, if the wisdom people bring into the crowd is being replaced by leadership, I don't see it standing a chance in the group. But I would make all the effort possible for them to feel belonged. I mean, grass also belongs in the forest.
Nice.
There is also a tree.
Nice.
Well, there is also a person who grazes them off. So there are different things. The balance definitely comes with what you identify as a leader. So if I think you will become a fool if you choose to become a bigger grass in the field of grass. If it makes sense. I would not choose to be a grass. I would rather choose to be a tree who would never graze on the grass. I would definitely shelter them, but I would never be a bigger grass. I would be a bigger tree.
I would really want to know your view on because the collective consciousness is, as what I was trying to tell, right, is if you are talking about the theories of music,
Yes.
they are available, present in documented digital format.
True.
If you're talking about music as a notation,
Mm-hmm.
they are available
Mm-hmm.
in a digital format.
Correct.
They are there as a data set that can be provided to a large language models.
Mm-hmm.
Large language models are the models which is basis of artificial intelligence today.
Okay.
They are using these data sets to learn.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with artificial intelligence itself is it is giving a cumulative experiences of a lot of people who have documented already
Mm.
that's existing inside the world,
Mm-hmm.
starting from Mozart.
Right.
Now, today when I generate a music inside AI, it's a very weird, irky music because it's not getting that sense of taste.
Right.
But this was also true for images once we started AI. How do you view in this new gen? Because this is it's kind of relevant simply because do you think the artistic nature of it is going to change, or what do you sense about the evolution of AI that's happening right now?
I mean, it goes without saying that AI is, first of all, artificial. It cannot replace human in any way that has to do with creation. It can only reorganize very intelligently, and that is smart of it. That is something we cannot compete against. We would be foolish if we were to compete ourselves with the speed of AI.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to feel so offended because a machine is doing good, because it's your brainchild after all. So when it comes to the sensitivity of music, right, the intention behind music is something that goes unnoticed. So when I listen to a piece of music, I go back to how the creator would have imagined. What scenario would the creator be in to come up with a certain situation? And say that information is available somewhere on the net, and definitely artificial intelligence has the access to it. It will only try to replicate the same thing without understanding the unique nature of the new piece that it is constructing. So what will happen is basically it will end up irky, that the way you just mentioned. It will try to make it sound rich, amazing, but doesn't have the sensitivity. So we have a lot of AI music going on. Even Disney, for God's sake, is letting AI compose. They reconstruct the same music. There's a new movie called as Wish. Not very new, but relatively new, that came up. And the moment I listened to it, my ears screamed it was AI music. Though I was very skeptical of myself identifying it because it's Disney. Why would Disney use artificial intelligence? Because it has one of the best musical sources that anybody could have. But they have tried to experiment something, maybe reduce workload. I do not know why they chose AI to do it, but it is very AI. And now you even have the feature where voices are also being replaced. And it is okay, because when you compare it with contemporary music, right, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever you call, all of them are already used to a softened version, a sweetened version, an auto-tuned version of music that they listen to. So that's a shortfall of the generation, I would say. I bet any AI would never ever compose a musical piece as close to Lag Ja Gale or any such golden songs that already exists in our old school music books. But nowadays the music that we make sounds like AI, if it makes sense, not the other way around. So it's like we both are meeting at a point where it's hard to differentiate whether this music is human or not.
Don't you think that's an evolution in the music?
I do not think that is just a corruption, because see, some things happen. You get mutated and you get 6 fingers, for example, and that happened, and people thought that 6 is better than 5, and that thought of corruption right there ended up creating this generation of people thinking that 6 is better than 5, if it means, if you understand what I mean. And most of it, though it might not have been researched, most of it is because of hype. Say, for example, you're not liking the latest pop song that some XYZ artist has released, your peer would not like you. There are hundreds of things that happen on the same plane. It is a lot of unnecessary, undocumented kind of instances where things go unnoticed. Some just because it sounds cool, it's supposed to be cool, and that is why it is called pop. Pop music is nothing but popular. People just like it because it is supposed to be liked, and it is. By all means, I do not want to offend anything. It's almost like creating religions.
I would want to give a space, because I have a privilege of sitting with you, and I would want to also listen to you. I have a privilege to do this now.
Yes.
So I want to listen to your song. So.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. So that would be the last part how we went. But
okay.
But I would want to thank you, because one thing which I definitely realized is you are a very deep person.
Thank you.
So you go to a topic, to a last part of it. It's amazing. It's amazing that how you see things and how you see stuff. I'm pretty confident that I would want to do this all day long with you. I would always want to come back, and then we will do the session once again sometime.
Oh, definitely.
And discuss on the journey where you're going. Right?
Definitely.
I would be, as I said, throughout your call, I'm eagerly waiting for the collaborations.
Definitely. We'll discuss more.
Because you're vibing with me, don't you think that you're old? Do you feel that you're old?
The term, again, I'll get back to the term itself. The term old is very overrated, because it is asking of you to believe that you're not new. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, I asked this question from a different point of view.
If it is aged, yes, I think.
Aged, yeah. No, because the matured can be a lighter version of asking, but I want
it
to
is more like
I
have a view on that. It is purely based on how many conscious hours you spend with yourself and the world around you. That's it. Most people spend it, I don't know if there is a semi-conscious phase where people do not notice it deliberately, and probably people have not been inspired to notice the details. I think when somebody notices the details on purpose, I think they start consciously aging. And I think I'm not the most aged person when somebody can be 22. I think somebody can be older for 22 if they have spent more conscious time, and according to the time that I have spent consciously viewing the world, probably this is the I don't know if you want to call it maturity that comes into.
Thanks a lot, Sagar.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure. It was, at least for me, it's amazing to know how you see the music, how you see.
It's been a lovely pleasure for me to share it with. In fact, it helped me reflect a lot, because some people have not asked me questions like this. You know, when somebody asks you a question, you have to ask your brain, and it has to recollect all of those instances and come up with it. So probably I would say this was a constructive session for myself as well, and it helped me dig into some thoughts probably that were left out.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks you. Thanks a lot. So this song is the one I was talking about, Lag Ja Gale. I hope we all resonate with the meaning more than the melody. हमको मिली है आज ये घड़ियां नसीब से, जी भर के देख लीजिए हमको करीब से, फिर आपके नसीब में ये बात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो। लग जा गले कि फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो। लग जा गले से हम तुम कितने पास है, कितने दूर है चांद सितारे। हम तुम कितने पास है, कितने दूर है चांद सितारे। सच पूछो तो मन को झूठे लगते हैं ये सारे सारे सारे, मगर सच्चे लगते हैं ये धरती, ये नदियाँ, ये रहना और तुम बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं। ये धरती, ये नदियाँ, ये रहना और तुम और तुम।